activists and members of Zionist movement were arrested. Here, Isaac Milstein worked, the last representative of the JDC in Bessarabia. This is his last picture made in People's Commissariat of Internal Affairs in 1940.
Здесь не лежат мои убитые родственники.
My dead relatives are not lying here resting in peace. In the village of Niguren, in a cellar, a drunken Romanian soldier machine-gunned 29 people in a trice. Women, children and old people.
Потом их выбросили в канаву.
Then the bodies were dragged over to a gutter and covered with dirt. Several hundreds of thousands of other Bessarabian Jews have not been buried here, but their fate was similar in other places. Ditches, silo pits, barns, cattle pens, and just on roadsides.
В загонах и просто в дорогах.
This monument to the chief rabbi of Bessarabia, Yehuda Leif Cyrilson, was erected long before World War II. Here are buried under the tomb desecrated Torah scrolls and straps of sacred books found after the pogrom of 1903. When, on July 17, 1941, German and Romanian troops entered Chisinau and started their monstrous pogrom with murders, rapes and undisguised plunder, Rabbi Cyrilson set off for negotiation with the commandment. He was shot in the commander's office yard, and then his remains were buried here, alongside the memory of Chisinau pogrom. This wise 80-year-old man could not believe that in the middle of the 20th century, brutality proceeded not from a crowd, but from civilized states. The monument to Chisinau ghetto victims was erected on the very place to which 12,000 Chisinau Jews, those remaining alive, had been driven together. This is from where they had been taken for back-breaking labor and execution.
Пламенные лепестки, почти стертые ветрами, как будто цветы завели в сухой равинской монограмме. Полузабытая пора, как невесомый дождь апрельский, и мы шальная детвора на старых улочках еврейских.
Одному человеку удалось выбраться из гетто.
There was a man who managed to escape from the ghetto. Disguised as a Romanian officer, he got to Bucharest.
Он хотел добиться защиты евреев.
He appealed for the defense of Chisinau Jews to Queen Mother Elena, but was refused point blank.
Ему предложили остаться в Бухаресте, чтобы...
To save his life, he was suggested staying in Bucharest.
Я не могу бросить их.
I can't leave them in their hour of need, saving my bacon, he replied. I have to be back with them, no matter what may happen. That was a famous lawyer, Abraham Shapiro, fulfilling the duties of the head of Chisinau Jewish community. He perished together with the ghetto prisoners. God bless his memory. In several months, July through November 1941, Bessarabian Jewry was mostly done with. General Antonescu was as good as his word given to Hitler before the war. Bessarabia judenfrei. By November 1941, the ghetto was empty. But Jew hunt was not over.
Несколько километров от Кишинева их расстреляли.
The last carriage with 58 last inhabitants of the ghetto, Jewish patients from Kostyzhyn mental asylum, covered only a few kilometers from Chisinau. The passengers were shot and Bessarabia became really judenfrei.
Мой дом сгорел в окне времен, остался детский сон наидыш.
Everybody joined in restoring the abused land. Those who had been evacuated and those who had been fighting at the front. People of various ethnicities, thousands of Jews that came back from the evacuation and from the war, rewarded orders and medals for victory over fascism, were among them. Children studied at school, in Russian, in Moldovan, in Ukrainian, but there was no place for Jewish children to learn Aleph and Bet. Not a single paper, not a single book was published in Hebrew and Yiddish. Before World War II, there were over 70 synagogues in Chisinau, and after it, people were restoring this synagogue, the only one, under a constant threat of being arrested. In 1948, the threat became reality. To this place in Westernichen station, a column of several thousands of people was brought under escort. There were many religious Jews among them. These papers were pretty explicit. They were full of disclosures of enemies of the people. The hunt was disguised behind the mysterious word cosmopolites. Arrests of Jewish writers were termed the suppression of intrigues of an imperialism agent, the latter standing for the JDC. Another wave of anti-Semitism was provoked that materialized into the model show of Doctor's Case. Bessarabian Jews saw it through and needed no explanation for the show. It had been proven that preparation was underway for a synchronous deportation of all Jews to Siberia and the Far East. had to take place in March 1953. God's ways are inscrutable. In early March, Stalin's slaughterhouse stopped its existence. In the 50s, 60s, Bucharia Moldovan State Variety Band was popular all over the Soviet Union. Its creator and conductor was Shiko Aranov. There were many other Jews, scientists, writers, sculptors, teachers, composers, athletes, doctors and engineers that made the glory of the Moldovan Soviet Socialist Republic. However, in the friendly family of the peoples, there was no room for culture and language of the Jewish people. At the end of 1967, we witnessed a miracle. New Kostrilovka, a wonderful performance of Chisinau Jewish Amateur Theatre, was on here. There had been several other miracles preceding it. First, brothers Schwarzman managed to talk to Communist Party authorities into opening the theater and organizing all the necessary stuff for free. Another miracle was that Motel Sakzier, Jewish writer, and Reuven Levin, talented stage director, succeeded in gathering a troupe of almost 100. Those were mostly young people, and the organizers taught them Yiddish to begin with. However, the biggest miracle was the audience. The hall was packed with Chisinau Jews who came to watch Shalom Aleicham's comic stories on stage. But at the first sounds of the mother tongue, their eyes filled with tears. They did laugh. Later, they rocked with laughter, and it was laughter through tears. Why? Because they saw their hope materialized in the young on stage. This hope kept them going during all those years, and in 1990 came true. There was an endless stream of Bessarabian Jews making Aliyah. Nevertheless, they loved their long-suffering motherland. When going away, they left behind a part of their heart. At late 19th century, our compatriot Shmuel Cohen composed the melody to the lyrics of Imber, a friend of his, and also Bessarabian. This song embodied hopes of all Jewish people. Another miracle. No wonder it was selected to turn into the anthem of the State of Israel. The hopes and aspirations of the Moldovan people came true. The Republic became an independent state. Since the independence was established, much has been done to restore historic justice to the Jews living on this land, which resulted in renewal and blossoming of the Jewish community of Moldova. A new era in the history of the Jewish community began. New organizations and institutions are being opened. Yiddish and Hebrew became legitimate. Conditions are created for various relations of diaspora Jews with the State of Israel, Jewish organizations of the US and other countries, the Jewish Agency of Israel and Israeli Cultural Center start their work, while Chabad Lubavitch and Agudat Israel movements resume their activities. It's a pity that on a many-suffered land of Moldova, there are so few of us left. We were in Hitler's imprisonment, and we survived. Thank God that we are alive. And because we are alive, we must meet each other, talk, and enjoy our every meeting. Today, we live here in peace and quiet. Time will show what will happen to our children in the 21st century.
Und in Stub ist heiß. Und der Rebbe lernt kleine Kinder lach, dem allerbesten. Und der Rebbe lernt kleine Kinder lach, dem allerbesten. Gedenkje Kinderlach, gedenkje Teiere, was ihr lernt do. Sagt je noch einmal und Tage noch einmal.